Welcome to Between Two Molars, an open conversation of the wins, setbacks, and messy middle of business ownership. A new kind of podcast that pulls back the curtain. No fluff, real conversations, real lessons, and the real life of running an orthodontic practice. So sit back between two molars and let's get into it. Welcome to Between Two Molars, the space where real orthodontic conversations happen.
I'm Diana Weaver.
And I'm Michelle Shimmin. Together, we're diving into the real-life challenges, wins, and wisdom from inside orthodontic practices.
So grab your coffee and let's get comfortable.
Today,
I'm ready to talk between two molars.
Between two molars, we're talking about the growth multiplier.
Ooh,
the growth multiplier in practices is really about how we can use smart outsourcing to transform the modern orthodontic practice and unlock production, profitability, focus. There's so many opportunities right now that I wanted to bring to the surface for us to talk about, for our audience to be able to think outside of the box as well, and to look within their practice to see how they can unlock that additional focus, that additional profitability.
Outsourcing is such a hot topic right now. How do I outsource? What roles can be outsourced? How does it actually work in live interactions,
situations? And before we really dive into that, let's talk about the why behind it and some of the struggles and the problems that we are seeing within orthodontic practices. You know, we're seeing an increase in team
fatigue
and burnout for sure. We want to be able to reclaim focus and reduce that burden on our team members. But I think a big one is also taking areas that are really big time sucks and taking high value team members off of those tasks, right? That can be pretty expensive to the practice. And I do think that there's a new reality here within business, and technology facilitates this for us. I think that the last 5 years with COVID launched a lot of need, but guess what? Our consumers are not going backwards.
We are not.
We say this all the time. You know, outsourcing should not be a quick Band-Aid within practices.
No, and doctors, I know that we hear this all the time, as I want to outsource as much as possible. I want a lean, mean, well-oiled machine for their practice. I know I rhymed a lot in that one, but
firing on all cylinders.
Yes. And outsourcing can really help them leverage the team members that are in the office that help them elevate what that patient experience is. So they are less bogged down in tasks and check marking the boxes and more focused on that concierge service.
The relational side
of things.
Interaction. I think that that's really important. I think that we have a lot of hidden costs for in-house team members as well. And this should not be about replacing team members necessarily.
No.
It should be about ensuring that you have the right team members on board, and to feel safe in making business decisions around team members and not living in fear.
And it enhances what the team members might be really great at. Maybe you have a front desk team member who is extremely amazing at the engagement and their relationships and the welcoming and do you want a coffee or tea and all of that, but their strengths do not fall in reporting and actual, data elements for their day-to-day role. So how do we peel that part that we want them a part of our team? How do I elevate and enhance that team member by outsourcing?
This is the scalability strategy for businesses, and something that you should definitely look into how you can start to incorporate this. So let's redefine, if you will, what outsourcing looks like. You know, it used to be a feeling of a lack of control or a broken system. Which we have to recognize that it's not about losing control. It's not about losing our culture or our quality, but it's about being able to be very strategic. Take, for instance, the financial coordinator role. Okay. That's a huge opportunity because, unfortunately, insurance companies are not on our side.
No.
The insurance companies are in the business to make money, and the less they pay you, the more they make. And so, that is an area of oftentimes huge loss of revenue, whether it's a lack of focus or knowledge that hole is even there. When we go in and do reporting, we see this all the time, and it's really a disheartening area because typically it's not done out of malice, but it is done out of a lack of understanding or awareness, especially if you have, financial coordinators that have either done this for so long and have not necessarily been up on the changes with it, or if you have had a lot of turnover where you've had a lot of individuals training individuals, and then you really have a lot of the processes typically fall off or fall apart.
Or a lack of time. And I'm a huge advocate, the time management thing. I always say, you hear me say it all the time. It's not, I don't have enough time. It's not a priority. But prioritizing those tasks need to be a priority. The insurance verification part is so important for all of the downline elements of what that role entails. If we don't know what the insurance is going to cover, how they're going to pay, I have a very difficult time as a treatment coordinator in converting, because that's the number one question that patients are going to ask me. What's my insurance going to cover? And then my financial coordinator is going to need to know, how do I structure this contract in a way that's going to set me up to be successful with knowing when the past dues happen, right?
Accurately. It boggles my mind whether they've been trained and coached in the past in the wrong way. But you have to be setting up those contracts correctly from the beginning so that you are saving yourself a lot of time and a lot of potential mistakes down the journey, down that pathway. It is oftentimes I see them where they'll set up a claim and the claim is owing $1. And there is no way to understand the truth and accuracy behind what is owed on your AR. You're unable to focus and understand how much time needs to spend on that. So this goes back to
or how much is even past due.
Right. How
because
can you
it's
even
not
make
$1
decisions?
past due. It's
and I know it's been
more.
used as a trigger before, but just have it accurate. Mm-hmm. Reflect when an amount is due, set up the ledger that way, expect it to pay that way, and when it doesn't, we're going to figure out why it's not.
Right.
And we're going to put our energies into that. So that's what sets up a successful financial coordinator to report accurately on the business, which is what is really important. So that ties back into needing to spend the time on the phone with insurance companies. Again, sadly, I wish there was a way to get all of the information we need on a portal, but most of the time we can't.
Nope.
You can get the benefit. You can typically get how much of it is used, but oftentimes you can't get the full page of information that we need when we verify that benefit. And that takes a lot of time on the phone with insurance companies. Mm-hmm. It takes a lot of time following up on unpaid claims, sitting on hold for insurance companies.
So it sounds like the inside scoop is outsource.
Outsourcing is something that allows your team to be really profitable and really efficient. Mm-hmm. So there's virtual assistants that you can hire to be able to spend time on the insurance companies. Virtual assistants can manage scheduling patients from reports, very common. Where we see the success with a virtual assistant is when you onboard and treat them as a team member.
Exactly.
If we're going to just simply treat them as a ghost employee out there that's at our beck and call, we're not going to have a vested team member wanting to do their best. And
who feel valuable.
Right.
The greatest success stories that I know you and I see is when those virtual assistants are included in the business meetings on a monthly basis, mm-hmm. or included in these mini discussions on they have to report on these certain key performance indicators. They feel proud of their work that they're doing because they see the positive impact and the results.
And they want to continue to do better.
And they want to continue to do better because they're appreciated at that mm-hmm. point.
That's exactly right. Mm-hmm. The other area is new patient workflows. There's a lot of opportunity with technology and services to be able to outsource a lot of those new patient workflows as well. Now, with outsourcing or automation, we're going to, talk about, AI at some point. That's huge in our industry right now. That could probably be a number of segments. But the one key factor that I want us to always remember is not to lose the relational side of what we do. Mm-hmm. So in understanding the areas in the practice that you can outsource, we can focus on the relational direct patient-facing experience and elevate that extensively, like you said, to that concierge level, while maintaining really great overhead and, strategic, scalable growth within the practice. Mm-hmm. So those are some other areas that we really see it beneficial. You can do marketing support. I've seen a lot of outsourcing of marketing support. But again, don't lose the true representation of culture within the practice or the customization. I think that's really important with outsourcing. You don't want a canned system that's just going to do the same thing for every practice that, that they outsource to.
So you still need a really strong funnel of communication between whoever you're outsourcing that marketing initiatives to and the practice, because there's still going to need to be a point person or somebody's owning, social media content or photos or some sort of point person that's forward facing in the practice to actually go out into the community and be that brand ambassador, so to speak.
It's interesting. I see a lot of doctors really cautious. They want social media. They need social media. I personally don't think the doctors should be doing social media.
I agree.
That is, now, yes, approve of the designs, approve of the messaging, approve of the content 100%. But that is a lot of time for the doctors to be taking on that process.
Well, because in the beginning, you talked about how outsourcing eliminates, we don't want high valued team members doing these
time suck tasks.
Right. That's, the doctor cannot be the more higher value than that, right?
Right.
Why do we need to have these
actually
time
be
set?
doing those social media content creation and so forth? So having clear communication in meetings to know what our brand is, what our colors are, what our messaging is, what type of content we want to be posting out there, and then to have a simple approval process. This is something that allows doctors to start trusting the individual and trusting the process. Have the team members create the posts and the content. You can do it a lot ahead of time and schedule it to be posted, and have the doctor approve it all so the doctor knows what's posted. That's how you can deliver or develop that trusted relationship with it, and you can still delegate it out without losing that control, if you will. And I do think that that's an important process, but that's something that is really pretty easy to be able to outsource and create more efficiency within your team. We really want to unlock opportunities of additional production. We want to unlock additional focus and profitability within our practice. And that's what these discussions and these opportunities about outsourcing allow the practices to be able to do.
So to enhance what you just said on the additional opportunities for production, the observation program management can be another great opportunity to outsource. Yes, you're going to need to see those patients, but there's a lot of virtual care options out there that you can, very closely monitor without the parent having to necessarily come in all the time to your practice.
Yeah. And whether we do, our virtual appointments, you can outsource the monitoring of those as well. You can outsource. I definitely strongly believe in consistent communication with patients around the observation and growth and development, not to just let them fall by the wayside. It's constant communication and clarity and, running those reports to get those patients in so that you don't have that leaky bucket, which is pretty common.
Very common.
Within orthodontic practices. So tie your observation program in with virtual care and you have an atomic result. Which is going to be the opportunity to increase your production as well, especially if you have, obviously, your exam process and your treatment coordinator streamlined to convert all those patients. And you better be converting 100% of your observation patients.
100%.
Or you have a broken observation program.
In all sorts of channels of messaging and scripting. That's a whole different podcast.
Education and influence. You're right. We'll take note of that.
Yes.
But through that education and through that influence is where we have that ability to create that seamless transition into treatment from our growth and development program. So there's a lot of opportunities with that as well.
So we touched on nearly every position in the practice, I think.
How do you feel about outsourcing appending?
So I have mixed feelings, to be honest.
Yeah.
I like the relationship piece. I feel strongly that if I am seeing somebody and I, as a treatment coordinator, am telling them this is the cadence, what's your preferred method of contact, that personalization is important. Now, can we automate that to some degree? Of course.
Oh, I'm so glad you touched on that.
Of course.
Yeah. I'm a firm believer in the treatment coordinator being the one to manage and oversee the pending protocol. I am not a believer in just handing your pending patients off to somebody to call. Because we are in a relationship building industry. You and I were both around well before treatment coordinators came into the picture. And one of the main assets of a treatment coordinator was to be that relationship conduit between the doctor, between the practice and the patient, and to facilitate, to coordinate that treatment. And so if we take that relationship piece out of it, we're not as effective. Right. So they have built a relationship with the treatment coordinator during that exam process. And the treatment coordinator should absolutely understand and recognize what the barriers were to starting treatment, and then to be able to creatively address those and facilitate those. And if I have, just some random person running the report and calling, checking off those boxes, it is not going to be efficient or effective.
And definitely not effective, because that other person isn't going to be able to say, hey, how did Joey's soccer game go? Yep. Did he do a great job?
Touch on the personalization that you developed in the exam process. But again, automating that process as much as possible. You can have customization and automation at the same time.
Oh, I can't wait for that podcast.
Right. So I think that that's really important to recognize as well. How can you enhance it, make your TC's time more efficient by automating some of those pending protocols and processes without losing that customization or that personal touch?
So what do you think about how do we outsource some of the tasks from the clinical team? That can be maybe a tougher one.
That's actually really interesting. I think we're going to see a lot of that with ordering and inventory. I think we're going to see a lot of that with managing patients past completion or non-compliance patients as well. Those are some opportunities and areas with that, but definitely not as many opportunities as we see in the administrative side of things. But there's always some areas. I mean, you can definitely fill a full-time VA.
I love it.
Within the whole practice, and start there. Reach out. We'd love to share some pearls and some areas to allow you to be as successful as possible with that as well. But that's a wrap on today's episode, where we're talking about the growth multiplier and how smart outsourcing can transform the modern orthodontic practice and elevate the production, the productivity, and the focus within a practice. So until next time, stay curious and stay connected.
Don't forget to like and subscribe, share our content, and always comment and provide some great, strong questions. We're always looking to hit on what you're most interested in hearing about. Until next time, Between Two Molars.
See you then.